Hey everybody, it's Josh here. I'm going to do this video to explain why I am a mystic as opposed to a spiritual person or a seeker or a cult member, as some have accused me. I've been very careful not to label myself because I don't believe in a particular label can be addressed to a person who is just wanting to know the truth in life and willing to seek it through various means, but not just through looking without, but through insight. And I took a couple notes here because somebody somebody said it really well earlier, that mysticism is the gradual discovery of fact, and it's one that tries to apply knowledge. That's the idea, is trying to apply the knowledge that you've learned as opposed to just learning. Now there are seekers of knowledge. This is not mysticism. This is knowledge seeking. When you begin to apply that knowledge to your daily life, you become a mystic, in a sense. But here's the definition that I heard today that really, I think, resonated. It's not to attain knowing, but by a degree of knowing, attain a factual existence. Pretty simple, straightforward. You want to, not to attain your degree of knowledge, but to attain a degree of knowledge that helps you to live your everyday life and helps you apply that in order to better the world. If you look around and you haven't improved the world or the structure of even your own life by what you're seeking, then it's generally invalid. The idea of mysticism is direct cognition, or insight. To use your own insight to develop an intellectual and reasoning basis for how to live a better life. And this isn't something anybody can teach you. This isn't something that can be learned through any type of book or by going to any kind of class. This is based on the idea of wisdom, which goes hand in hand with mysticism. And wisdom is also based on knowledge, but it's using the knowledge of the past to act in the present to better your future. It's a very simple process. And instead of abandoning the things from our past that we find negative, use them as a boost to find something positive in the future to move towards. And likewise, use the positive things of the past to know what works and what doesn't work. We tend to overemphasize the negatives, and sometimes we tend to overemphasize the positives. And when we look back on the history of our lives, they're often skewed. In fact, they're always skewed. We remember bits and pieces that correlate to the parts that we want to remember. And when we go through certain phases in our life, we start to remember different parts of our past that relate to that. So, I'm a mystic in the sense that I'm trying to find all this knowledge out in order to use it and apply it to work towards a better future. And folks who believe in reincarnation believe that we pay for past lives in present lives, and that we're repeating the things that we do of a negative nature are things that we will continue repeating until we cure that problem, maybe from a past life, from this life. Regardless of whether or not we reincarnate isn't the point, because we know that in this life alone, things that are negative tend to keep repeating over and over and over. If you keep messing up, you keep messing up until you cure that mistake. I'm no stranger to that. I've made plenty of mistakes. There are things that I procrastinate on, things I should do, paying bills late, end up costing myself more money than I should. I don't look at this as a negative thing in life. This is a learning curve for me, in hopes that instead of giving up, saying, oh well, I can't do anything right, I can use this as a basis for, bettering my future. We have to take everything that comes out of the air with grace, without resistance, because I'm not one of those extremists that says that all of our problems are self-inflicted, because I know that that's kind of a ridiculous notion. Even if it is a past life inflicted thing, some people suffer needlessly, unfortunately. There's always going to be a balance, and this is where some people just don't seem to get it. They think that if a person is in a bad way, that they've caused all their own problems, and this is just not the truth. It's an easier way to look at it, to say, well, they must have done something wrong in a past life. than to say the reality is that some folks suffer, and it's unfortunate. But by looking at that suffering, we can see how fortunate we are for what we have. You see? And when we see others that are doing much, much better than us, some people see envy in that. And they, I want that. Maybe that's a motivational factor, you know? It keeps people moving forward to see others doing better. If we didn't see others doing better, we wouldn't know there was a better. You know, all of these things are understandings that have made my life so much easier and richer. I don't live with stress or anger like I may have when I was younger. I was never an angry person, but at least for the last 10 years I've worked on maintaining my emotions and not neglecting my emotions. That's something you never want to do, is ignore your emotions, because they are part of this just as much as anything else. So when you feel anger, embrace it. Respond if you have to. Don't try to act like you're this perfect person. If you have something to say, say it. And then get over it and move on. People are afraid to show their emotions when they are negative, just like some people are afraid to show love. And it becomes an addiction to hiding yourself from the world. And I put myself out there, you know, and some people can't stand that, you know. I've being able to kind of roll with the punches, you know, because I just am who I am, and nothing's going to change that. I'm living with myself. I'm living with my family. I'm living in my life with my values, my integrity that I've built upon my understanding of life. And that's why I have the mystical approach to life, if there has to be a label for it. And I guess I wanted to say that because some people use the word, say, spiritual, and they don't want to use that word because it sounds so cheesy. Whenever I hear someone say they're spiritual, I say, okay, I picture the lady with the crystals doing tarot cards, you know, nothing wrong with that, but that's not spiritual. A person who is seeking is not a spiritual person. A person who's seeking is a mystic, and there are a lot more of us than you realize. A lot. I'm not even 40 years old, and I'm hoping that by the time I'm 60 or so, I'll be able to have utilized this knowledge to better my life to the best I can. So my only goal in the meantime is to share that knowledge with people without an egocentric type of this is the way to go attitude, because that's bullshit, and that's not how I am. I just know that I'm realistic. I roll with the punches. Shit happens. Sometimes I feel crappy, you know. I wake up, I drink my coffee. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. That's the key. That's the secret. Perfection lies in imperfection. So, hope y'all have a great evening. I'm going to enjoy the sunset. Looks like it's going to be nice. Can't see it through the trees. Namaste, everybody.